Hi viewers, this is CBSE Grade 10 Political Science, second chapter Federalism, Part 1. In this topic, let us see what is federalism and the features of federalism. What are the types of federalism? Okay, three things we are going to see: the meaning, features, and types of federalism. Okay, let us see what is federalism. Very simple. Federalism is a system of government in which the powers are being shared between central government and the state government. That's all. We have seen the forms of power sharing, four forms of power sharing. In the vertical form of power sharing, that is between the top level to bottom level government, is called federalism. Okay, so here see, federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between central authority and various constituent units of the country. Okay, maybe a country may have central government and state government. Okay, so central government will take care of common national interest, which is our common national interest, and also which areas need uniform policy, like currency. For example, currency. See, you cannot have rupee for entire India and Tamil Nadu some other currency, Maharashtra some other currency, and Odisha some other currency. We need uniform currency. So in such cases, like defense, we need uniform policy and it is national interest. So these subjects will be taken care by the central government and day-to-day activities will be taken care by the state government. Okay. So federalism is a system of government in which power is being divided between the central authority and various constituent units. Central government for the entire nation that will take care of the subjects of common national interest and which needs uniform policy, and state governments will take care of day-to-day administration of the state. Both the levels enjoy the powers independent of the other. The central government cannot interfere in the powers of the state government, as well as state government cannot interfere in the powers of the central government. They have the separate power, which is clearly specified in the constitution. Okay. Now let us move on to the other form of government. What is other form of government? Like USA and all, they have only unitary system. I mean, no various constituent units. The power is not being shared between the central government and other constituent units. That is unitary system. They have only one level of government. Even though there are subunits, maybe subunits are subordinate to the central government. See, for example, teachers are subordinate to the principal. Whatever the principal says, teachers have to do it. The principal has authority to order the teachers. Okay, subordinates. So, but in case of, see, this case of unitary system, the subunits are subordinate to the central government. So the central government can order the subunits. But in case of federal system like India, central government cannot order the state government to do this and that. State government is not answerable to the central government, but it is answerable to the people. Central government also is answerable to the people. State government is also answerable to the people, but they separately answerable. Not state government is answerable to central government is answerable to state government. Both the governments are answerable individually to the people. Any government, any elected, democratically elected government is answerable to the people because they are empowered by the people. Okay, so federal system is sharing the power between central government and state government. Unitary system, only one level of government. Now let us move on to the features of federalism. What are the features of federalism? The first feature we have, it is clear that it is obvious in federalism there will be two or more levels of government. I mean central government and state government. What is more level? Countries like India, we have third tier system like Panchayat Raj system, local self government. So we have three levels, two or more levels of government. Okay, one thing. Second thing, different tiers of the government govern the same citizens. See, the subjects like currency, nation, defense, banking, and all, the central government will take decisions for that the citizens have to obey. I mean, on these subjects, central government govern the citizen. At the same time, irrigation, education, so some subjects which is included in the state list, the state government will also govern the same citizen. So one citizen will be governed by central government as well as the state government. So different tiers of government govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction. And which subject? Jurisdiction is the area on which they have the power. In your book at the right corner, you have a meaning for the word jurisdiction. See, meaning for the jurisdiction is the area over which someone has legal authority. Which area the central government has authority and which area the state government has the authority. Okay. So different tiers of the government govern the same citizen, but their level is, their jurisdiction is clearly specified. The matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. Okay. Then jurisdiction of respective levels of government are specified in the constitution. So second point we have seen, each tier has its own jurisdiction. That jurisdiction is specifically, clearly mentioned in the constitution. So that authority of each tier is guaranteed. Central government powers is guaranteed by the constitution, state government power is guaranteed by the constitution. No one can deny that. Okay. So leaving the fourth and fifth, let us move on to the sixth point. Sources of revenue of each level of government also clearly specified in the constitution. So their jurisdiction is clearly specified in the constitution. That is, they have different types of people. See, come to the second point. Different types of government govern the same citizen, but their jurisdiction is specific in the matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. That jurisdiction is clearly specified in the constitution. Not only their jurisdiction, I mean the area under their control, the subjects under their control is specified in the constitution. Their sources of revenue also is clearly specified in the constitution. So water tax, property tax, municipality tax will be collected by the local self-government. Okay. GST, income tax will be collected by the state, central government. So which government can collect what tax also is clearly specified in the constitution. Now let us move on to the fourth point. See, the fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. See, even though the defense is included in the union list, I mean, the central government is authorized to take care of the defense of the nation, it cannot change the fundamental provisions of the constitution unilaterally. To change the fundamental provisions of the constitution, it has to get consent of all the state governments also. Here you have to mention, you have to clearly notice that fundamental provisions of the constitution. See, central government can govern on these subjects, but if it wanted to bring any changes in the fundamental provision, it has to get consent of the state government and also state government to be consulted. For example, Article 370 had been cancelled. Article 370 provides a special status to Jammu Kashmir. Okay, that had been cancelled now. That is the change in the fundamental provisions of the constitution. This is the change which is brought in the fundamental provisions of the constitution. Even though the central government had single majority, it cannot take the decision unilaterally. It has to consult the state government also in this recording. That is the meaning of this feature. Okay, fundamental provisions cannot be unilaterally changed. Then, if any problem, any dispute arises, what will be the final? Apex court of the country acts as an umpire. Apex court of the country will act as an umpire. Which is apex court in India? Supreme Court. So Supreme Court. The courts have the power to interpret the constitution and the powers of different levels of government. So whatever the, only the courts have the power to interpret the constitution. So, what are the powers of central government? What are the powers of state government? Who will tell? The court. The court. Okay. So, we have seen the 6 features of constitution, 6 features of federalism. One is it is two or more levels of government, and the second one, different tiers of government govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction. And third one, the jurisdiction of the respective levels of government are specified in the constitution, and the source of income also specified in the constitution. Fundamental provisions cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Courts have the power to interpret the constitution. And the last feature is the dual objective of the feudal federalism. The dual objective of the federalism. What is the dual objective of the federalism? Last feature. The federal system has dual objectives. We know very well that India is the country of unity in diversity. Wherever we apply the federal form of government, there may be different people. I mean, we have different linguistic groups, we have different religious groups, we have different geographical located peoples. So, the federal system objective is it has to accommodate diversity. At the same time, it has to promote the unity of the country. Okay, it has to promote the unity of the country. It has to strengthen the unity of the country, but it has to accommodate at the same time. It has to accommodate the regional diversity. All linguistic groups also should be united. At the same time, their feelings, their respect, their behaviors also should be respected. We have to give guarantee that they can follow their religion, they can speak their language, they can follow their cultural habits and all. That should be guaranteed, as well as they should be united. So that is a dual objective of the federal system. Okay, so an ideal federal system. What is meant by ideal? A perfect federal system. See, what perfect federal system? It has both aspects. It should have mutual trust. I mean, the minorities should have a trust in the majority, and majority should have a trust with minorities. That is mutual trust, an agreement to live together. See, for ideal federal system, the perfect federal system should have these two things: mutual trust on each other and agreement to live together. Okay, so these are the features of federalism. And federalism is two forms of federations. Two forms of federations. One is coming together federation, and another one is holding together federations. What is coming together federation? See, let us talk about holding together federation, because we have this system. See, if the large country decides to divide its power, if the large country decides to, where a large country decides to divide its power between the constitution, between the states and the nation, is called holding together. India is a big country. We have divided the power between the central government and the state government. Our country has decided to divide its power. So this is holding together. Already we are holding the federation. This is holding together federation. Example, India, Spain, Belgium. Okay. And what is coming together? They are not coming together. Kuti nations, I mean small countries, they will come together for their safety. The independent states here, the independent states coming together on their own. See, the independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit, so that by pooling sovereignty, retaining identity, they can increase their security. So what does it mean? Independent states, small little nations, they are independent nations, like USA. USA is a combination of 13 states. Okay, United States of America. That is not single state. United States of America. Okay, so small states, they will have their independence. They will have their common I mean national anthem, national flag, national language, avangaloda cultures, everything will be different. They will have independent. Those states will come together on their own. Here we have to notice the word on their own. What is on their own? On their own, the sense no one compels them. No one compels them. No one compels them to come together. Why? If they are little nation, there is a possibility of attack by the colonialism or by conquest, anything. So what they wanted to strengthen their power as they are small nations. So they will come on their own. Independent small nations will come on their own to form a bigger unit. USSR also can be an example. Okay. European Union, USSR, all the examples, to form the bigger unit, so that by pooling sovereignty. What is pooling sovereignty? The sovereignty is they are not under the control of any foreigners. They will take decisions of their own, pooling their sovereignty, retaining identity. Their identity will be remaining same, but they can increase their security. Here we have to see three words: pooling sovereignty, retaining identity, they can increase their security. I mean, they will be ruling their own people. Major decisions will be taken by those people, both by their representatives. No country will interfere in their ruling. That is pooling sovereignty. Retaining identity. Their national flag, their national anthem, their culture, their constitution will be separate. No one will touch it. And they can increase the security because they have combined together to strengthen their power. Okay. So this form of government is called coming together federations. Example, USA, Switzerland, and Australia. Okay. So we have seen in this topic what is federalism, what are the features of federalism, and what are the types of federalism. Federalism is very simple. Sharing power between central government and state government is federalism. What are the features? Two or more levels of government. Same citizens will be governed by the different levels of government. Their jurisdiction is clearly specified in the constitution. Their source of income is clearly specified in the constitution. Fundamental provisions cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Courts have the power to interpret the constitution of the powers of central government and state government. And dual objective of the government, it has to promote the unity as well as it has to accommodate the diversity. These are the features of federalism. And we have seen two types of federations: coming together federation and holding together federation. If a big country like India decides to divide its power between constituent units, I mean central government and state government, that is holding together federation. If small nations, they join together to strengthen themselves, if they come on their own together by pooling their sovereignty, retaining identity, and increase their security, is called coming together federations. Example, USA, Switzerland, and Australia. Okay, let us stop this topic with this. In the next topic, let us see what makes India a federal country.